The documents describe several different encounters with the mysterious lights.
The UFOs could come closer to people, and sometimes they could get small, shrink it, or enlarge it, get lighter, like more illuminated.
The report concludes by describing the burn and puncture marks supposedly caused by the lights, but offers no proof that they are connected. The report leaves this and many other questions unanswered. It does not attempt to determine the source of the lights, or try to debunk the speculation that they came from alien aircraft. Today, it seems clear that a definitive explanation for the Colares sightings will not come from the Brazilian government. Officially, the Air Force states that, regarding Operation Saucer, a report was produced with diverse depositions, apparently without any scientific foundation. For the time being, new information may come from the work of independent researchers and ufologists. Physician Daniel Rebisso has studied the Colares sightings since 1985. He began his research by trying to discover other possible causes for the burn marks found on victims.
There was a suspicion that it could have been an animal, maybe a bat. This theory was discarded because when vampire bats bite, they leave marks in the shape of an O. It is a bite and it bleeds a lot. There was no bleeding in this case.
Rebisso also considered the theory that the sightings on Colares could be attributed to mass hallucination.
It was thought that it could have been mass panic, self-mutilation, that people were scratching themselves, hurting themselves. This also wasn't what happened.
Rebisso's research suggested that the wounds were not self-inflicted.
What it seems is that there was very intense radiation that paralyzed the nervous system, and the light must have extracted something.
Rebisso also looked into possible sources for lights that were seen on the island. At the time of the sightings, the Brazilian government was fighting communist guerrillas in the state of Para, in which Colares is located.
There was the suspicion that it might be a weapon, some clandestine maneuvers of guerrillas using devices to frighten off the population in order to bring in weapons, munitions, and war supplies to Para.
Despite reports of guerrilla activity, the government will neither confirm nor deny the information. Reporter Carlos Mendez, who covered the events on Colares, has no explanation for the strange lights the islanders described. But he believes that the remoteness of Colares and the superstitions of its inhabitants may have played a role in keeping the stories about UFO sightings alive.
The people were shocked, frightened. The people of Colares have always lived with legends, with folklore from the countryside. This is typical of the Amazon.
Today, the mystery remains. What was flying in the skies above Colares? And why did people think they had been attacked by beams of light?
Eles estavam retirando, provavelmente, material biológico, provavelmente sangue mesmo.
I believe that they were extracting biological material, probably blood, so that they could create vaccines and develop some protection for their own bodies, for their own civilization.
Os seus próprios corpos,
so that when the day arrived of final contact with mankind, they would no longer be susceptible to the illnesses and diseases that we humans present.
Enfermidades que nós humanos apresentamos.
As for Captain Holanda, the head of Operation Saucer, ufologists Marco Petit and A.J. Gevaerd are convinced that he came forward out of a sense of duty.
O Coronel Holanda, ele estava convencido que ele não.
Holanda was convinced that he couldn't die without telling the story. It was fundamental that we hear from the main protagonist in the story who had commanded the entire investigation.
Todo o processo de investigação.
He simply said that tomorrow he could be dead. He could be dead and the truth would die with him. And evidently, he didn't want that to happen.
He left us a very important message with us. We are being visited.